So you will continue with that process, constantly, as it suggests, diluting. But make sure that you clean that mixer very well between each well. So we've got a little head start to talk about relationships between concentration and pH. And we will explore that in our post-lab. Right. Any other questions on the lab? Right. We'll be going to the lab, but I want to make sure that you do have your goggles on. We are working with acids and bases. We know that they're potentially dangerous. Also, don't forget there's an eye wash in the back of the room, also to the side, and there's the shower if we were to spill any major quantities of acids or bases. Also, if you spill anything, please call the teacher over immediately. I'll be going around and checking on your work and answering any questions that you may have. If you were to spill any acid or base on you, please rinse it off with lots of water and make sure you call me immediately. Okay. Any additional questions? Ready for the lab? Okay. Let's go. Now, before you do the base, would you like to add the indicator, or you want to wait until the end?
Wait until the end.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
Do those look any different at the moment?
No.
No? Okay, so right now, they could be different concentrations. They should be different concentrations, but we're not aware of that. And the only way you're going to be able to tell is in what way?
At the universal indicator.
All right, very good. Doing fine. Okay, so you're keeping track of Mike, making sure he's on target here?
Rinse. Water.
Does it really matter if you get exactly 18 drops?
Well,
one over?
What would you think?
Well, it's just going to dilute it a little more.
Aha.
Be lighter.
And since we're working on precision and accuracy and dilution, what would that one drop do?
Screw us up.
That, you got it. Okay.
Now we go to the base.
So, all right. Gee, that's kind of interesting. I'll be anxious to see your base. See what happens with the base. Right now, what do you observe? Adam, what do you see happening here with the indicator in it?
On the first one?
Yes.
They're all the same.
They seem to be all the same, don't they?
Some look just a shade lighter.
All right.
But nothing major.
we may have to talk about this tomorrow because we should see a very obvious change, and it doesn't seem too obvious right now. So we might want to talk about why that happened. If you'll remember to ask about that, please.
All right.
Okay? Now, if you're not sure, let's just talk about that. If you're not sure, what could you do, Carlos, to try to help?
Take it back up.
Let's do that. Let's just try to do that. That makes sense. Let's just think that we got it wrong and let it all be sucked up, let go of the, there you go, and then come back and we'll try that again. I think that's good because I was watching your technique and you were very specific about getting all of it out of there and mixed. So go ahead and try it again. Okay, that's a good technique. Eight.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Nice. You guys helped each other. I like that.
I'll mix this one too.
Uh-huh. We want to try to be as consistent with all of the wells as we possibly can. Marvelous. Now, those colors are pretty obvious, but how could you see them even better?
Probably if you added more, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. Well, okay, with just what you have there, is there a way to make those colors more distinguishing? highlight them perhaps a little bit.
Put them in the light.
There's not a whole lot of change going on here, but we do see about what dilution do you start to see an obvious change?
From, what do you mean? After, like, from here to here?
Yes. Okay, so that would be what, the fourth, between the fourth and the fifth dilution? Okay. You might want, I'd like for you to record your results, and we'll compare pH to those values tomorrow. Question, just a second. James, your goggles, on your eyes, please. Over your eyes.
The colors seem to change. You know, it goes violet, violet, then a dark. Would that possibly have been caused because I accidentally put 2 drops of the indicator in it?
That could make a difference. Now, before we get all upset about that, how could you counteract that? What might be a possibility, gentlemen?
More water?
Well, I don't know about adding more water.
Another drop of indicator and all the rest of them? And
Ah.
Just in this row, or?
Well, I think we could probably compare them with this. Let's just see what you suggested, Aaron, of adding another drop to the others and see if that makes a difference. Then if we have to, we can add an indicator to the others. Good. Does that seem to make a difference?
yeah, it darkens these all a lot
right.
more.
All right. Good. Very good. Okay. Yes, why didn't we want to add water, James?
Because that diluted it even more.
Right, and the whole purpose of this was a dilution, all right? Okay, very good.
And I have one more other question.
Yes.
Like to say find the HCl, the concentration of the pH. How are we, is that by, I don't understand how we're supposed to do it from the 1 mole.
All right. We're going to talk about this tomorrow as well, but let's just think about this logically. You took 2 drops out of a total 20, yes?
Yeah.
And 2 drops out of 20 is what part?
10%.
10, or 10%, or 1/10. So if it's 1/10 of a 0.1, what would the concentration of this be? What's
100.
100.
Ah!
And then it goes 100th and 1,000th and 1/10,000th.
You've got it.
Okay.
Wonderful. Good job. It looks as though most people are finished now with the lab. If you will please clean up. The trays can be dumped down the sink, flush them with water, and make sure you don't take your goggles off before you've cleaned up. Most accidents happen while we're cleaning up. Please rinse out those wells, those trays, leave everything else in place, and bring the information with you to class tomorrow. We will talk about this tomorrow. You may leave all the reagents where they are. Laboratory experiences in high school chemistry are necessary. I cannot possibly see a science teacher, any science teacher, not doing a lab of some sort. There are many things that happen in a lab besides just the acquisition of knowledge. There are social skills, there is a cooperative effort that is going on amongst the group members in a lab. That's when I really get a chance to see the personalities of my students, to see how they work with one another, how they delegate responsibility, who sometimes are leaders and who need to be put back a little bit, and those that are a little bit shy but with good ideas. I get a chance to interact on a more personal basis when I get into a lab setting. There are times I feel like I'm on roller skates moving around from group to group, but it is necessary. It's necessary also for the student to be actively involved in the learning process, and they certainly are in a lab. They have to do it in order to see what is happening.